On the program today, we'll see different sculptural pieces dotting Nigeria's commercial hub, Lagos, zooming into one in particular while touching on some of the events that was used to celebrate the Afrobeat legend whose memory lingers in the hearts of many. Then we'll leave the energy in Lagos and move to Jos, the Plateau State capital, where an artist appears to have a thing for the money man. So whether they are singing or boxing, artists are inspired by these men, and we'll give you the details after we take this art quote from veteran artist Dr. Bruce Onogbakpeya.
Nigerian art have very vibrant and bright colors which reflect the strength and luminosity of light.
Years after his death, family, friends and associates gathered to celebrate the multi-talented artist Fela Kuti. There were many events lined up for the celebration fiesta, and we'll show you some of them on our first feature.
It's been the buzz in the air for weeks now. Every nook and cranny in Lagos State has been laced with events to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the death of Afrobeat maestro Fela Kuti. An exhibition of his album covers full of color and inscriptions showed just how deep Fela's message was and how his music remained evergreen. Most of the issues he sang about are still relevant and continue to inspire the next generation of creatives.
In the beginning was the music. The music was expanding and the music needed an accompaniment. So my art came in to play that role. And it did very effectively, and that's why I'm standing here today. I successfully illustrated Fela's thoughts via my art. Even though I didn't illustrate the lyrics literally every time, I did illustrate elements of the lyrics and added my own perspective to it. The key thing is I share the ideology of Pan-Africanism in totality with Fela.
Many of these covers, personally, I have not seen them, so it's sort of like refreshing to see. And then having to hear Mr. Lemmy himself speak about how, he came about these covers is actually very insightful. I got one for myself, and you know how that moment when artists tell you that there's more, that art tells a deeper story than what meets the eye. So that's what I am seeing here right now. I'm just reading some inscriptions, and it tells a different story entirely. So I'm happy to be here. Fela's music, sometimes when you sit down and you listen to it, it's like songs that you've even heard over and over and over again. When you listen to it again, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting something fresh from this. So there's so much you can learn from old music, from old artists, their work ethics, their style of performance, how they play with music, sounds. There's so much you can learn. And I'm very, very sure that there are tons of artists, Nigerians and artists around the globe, who are inspired by Fela.
And when night falls, all roads lead to the new Africa Shrine for the celebration fiesta, dubbed an Afrobeat tribute to the great man himself. A galaxy of stars headlined the stage, putting up a gig that made an impact on the distinguished personalities in the crowd. It's the spotlight that most dream of, considering the force driving this moment. Done letting their hair down. In the daylight, it's back to the grind, and the many sculptural pieces that spring up every day in the cityscape are sure to catch one's eye. And there's been an addition, one which can only be seen at the Allen Roundabout in Lagos. The Liberation statue, which was unveiled by the Lagos State government, is dedicated to the multi-talented artist on his 79th posthumous birthday. It stands close to the late Premier of Old Western Region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, a figure which created a lot of fuss after it was shown to the public. And this one too wasn't spared, especially since the image of the human rights activist was missing a head. Abolore Shobayo is known in the art circles as a creative mind with strong political consciousness. He's the one that dared to create this headless statue, and he explains why.
My work titled Liberation at the Allen Roundabout has been actually misunderstood to be a Fela statue, but rather it's been Fela's costume to symbolize what Fela stood for, his essence, his mythology, his struggle for human dignity and for emancipation of the people, for social consciousness. The statue is more of using Fela's garment to symbolize his essence. So it's not actually a full-fledged statue of Fela like it's been presumed by people.
His art studio is in the heart of Oshodi. The people are all too familiar with him, as he used to do community work to teach them art, and at the time he was a councillor representing Ogunloko Ward in the Oshodi Isola local government area. But through it all, he has always admired the music icon.
One of my beliefs basically is art is supposed to ask questions, art is supposed to generate discourse, art is supposed to be thought-provoking. Like Fela actually stood on the fact that music is a weapon, and actually uses music to challenge the norm. For me too, as a visual artist, I believe in generating discourse, we learn a lot, and which the work has done. It has generated a lot of healthy discussion at different quarters, some high level of intellectual discussion, which personally, reading some of the feats from people, I've also learned. And for me, it's also supposed to come to us to realize that 20 years after the demise of Fela Kuti, a revolutionary who has actually used his music to fight for the people, a lot of things he has said is still coming to pass. And creating another statue of Fela with the head and the hand would not solve our problem. It will not come back to fight for us. We need to see the Fela in us positively. We need to borrow his garment once in a while to bring the positive vibe of Fela, the freedom fighter part, for us to emancipate ourselves. I just wanted the work that will make us think beyond ordinary aesthetics. I just want a work that will not just let us say, ah, it's a beautiful artwork. I want a work that will make us think and look deep. I want something that will also let us generate discourse.
Sustaining Fela's legacy has crossed borders. Even Ogun State wasn't left out, as the artist's Abeokuta family residence on Nepa Road is set to become a heritage museum, which should be up and running by next year. It's not alone.
We have several of them here. Of course, you talk about Papa Ogunde, all of them. The great Ebenezer Obey, thank God, is still with us. It's several. In so many facets of human endeavor. You will see our people showing brilliantly well when they were here with us. So this is just one of those things that we are going to do.
He was one of the most fundamental social critics. He was quite determined, he was bold. But when I now look and listen to his concerts that he held in Berlin, he held in Europe in the 70s and in the 80s, I begin to marvel how little we appreciated this genius.
But Lagos State had the bulk of it. The Kalakuta Museum is already existing, and the family is set to get the much-needed support to really do up the interior, the houses, most of his items.